G'day guys, Bryce Edwards here. So in this video we're going to look at a couple of trade setups using the Spark order book, which is what you're looking at here. But before we do that, I just want to highlight the importance of really having a process for your trading. And it's particularly important as a scalper because you often need to think on your toes and act quickly, and that exposes you to all sorts of natural human impulses and emotions, right? So if you create your own process and get into the habit of abiding by a process, then you're going to guard yourself against impulsive trading. So I'll quickly run through an outline of a process that I follow, and then we'll look at a really interesting order book setup. Okay, so the first step is idea generation. You might see a chart setup that you like, perhaps a breakout. You might be trading company news. You might be looking at a lead-in from US markets or underlying commodity prices like gold or silver or copper. Really, any means of generating the trade idea is step one. The second step is then vetting those ideas. Now, for the most part, I'm talking about the order book. The order book basically determines whether your ideas are worthwhile trading, right? So as a scalper, I'm basically a slave to the order book. The order book has the biggest weighting in, and also the final say in the decision-making process. There might be other factors that help you vet your trade ideas. I tend to look quickly at a 1-minute chart. But you also might want to, consider the direction of the broader market, consider, what stocks or stocks in the same sector are doing as the stock that you might be trading. But it's up to you to create your own vetting process. And then once your idea passes through that test, then the next step is obviously preparation. Now, at this stage, when you're preparing to act, I guess it's important to point out that you may or may not take the trade, right? But you want to put yourself in a position where that you can enter the trade with a click of a mouse if the market then confirms your view. So it's a little bit like anticipation, similar to if you were driving a car, right? The best drivers are always anticipating future events. So you're going to determine your position size, your stop loss, and then of course get your order ticket up so that all you have to do is click your mouse button to enter the trade. Then the last step is obviously take action if the order book confirms your view. So again, the order book is that final vetting process to protect you against all sorts of harebrained trading ideas. All right, and I guess reading the order book, because it has the final say, reading the order book comes with experience. But I guess the biggest advantage of trading the Spark order book is that once you get enough screen time, you can really fine-tune the timing of your entries and exits, and that of course improves your win-loss ratio, and you begin to develop a real edge as a scalper. All right, now let's take a look at a couple of setups, shall we? Right, so this is the Spark platform, and we're going to be looking at a trade setup known as trading the break of a wall in the order book. And that's what you're looking at here, this big wall here at $4. Right, so buying into a sell wall at the day's high is, I guess you could say it's a fairly well-known strategy. And in this example, we're going to look at SYR. So this is Syrah Resources on the ASX. Right, so you can see up the top here we've got a daily chart, and down the bottom we've got the order book down below. So you can see with this sell wall here, you can see that that's represented in the old style order book down the bottom. So you've got about 54,000 units on offer at $4 with a total monetary value of around 218,000. Right, so the general idea is that when a large line like this is sitting at the day's high, when it gets gobbled up, it's a sign of strength. Right, so the general strategy is that you want to wait until buyers begin to nibble on the wall, and then you would buy into the wall at $4 basically hoping that it follows through. And you'll find that once people start to nibble on the wall, it goes really quickly, right? So it's really all about just preparing yourself to hit the button at the right time. Now in this example, I guess what I'm trying to show you is an order book setup, but I chose this particular trade because you had multiple factors aligning to make it a really favourable trade, right? So firstly, from a charting perspective, you can see that $4 is a breakout to all-time highs. So we go back to a weekly, and you can see, where Sierra's come from, and that's a pretty significant breakout there on that $4 level. So that's one. Number two is obviously we've got the breakout of resistance coinciding with a big sell wall here at $4. So there's two factors which are quite strong. But thirdly, you've got, on this particular day, on the Thursday, the XJO was up 62 points, right? So the broader market really, really strong, up over 1%. And the other factor that you might want to consider is how other stocks in the same sector are performing. Right now, graphite stocks have been really, really strong of late, but on this particular day, they were really on the gas. So you had the likes of Triton Minerals up 10%, Lambu Resources was up 7%, and I think Talga Resources, I think it is, was basically trading at all-time highs. Right, so four factors that make this a really, really favourable trade. So now we'll look at the Spark Order Book replay function to basically see how it played out. You can see that the time and date is being displayed here, but if you right click here, you can see that you can choose, basically using the scrubber, your starting point of the replay, and that also corresponds with this line in the chart up here, which is basically a marker. So we can switch this across to a 5-minute chart, and you can see where your position is. You can see the $4 resistance and where the breakout is. So you can generally just scrub forward to where you want to replay the function, and then obviously choose the speed in which you're replaying with your pause and your replay over here. So we're watching it in regular time. I'm actually going to speed this up so that we see it. Let's try, say, 30 times, 60 times, 120. It actually pulls back a little before having another go and breaking through. But when they break, they generally go quite quickly. Okay, so it has a bit of a nibble and then really moves quite quickly. Right, so obviously this happens a lot slower in real time, but generally what you watch for is the break of a wall, and the trade will generally move, well, hopefully in our favour straight away, which is obviously a good sign. And in this case, the stock puts on around 2.5% within about half an hour. So whether you choose to scalp out your position or try and ride the position for a couple of days would obviously be up to you and your trading style. But given there was a number of factors in play here, and technically it's quite a strong trade, I mean, this is perhaps a trade that you might consider trying to run for a couple of days. Obviously, it touches above 420 in the following day, up sort of around these levels. So there was probably 4% in it for you if you held it through to the next morning. So almost a textbook trade setup there in SYR. Now over the course of the next few videos, we'll look at a few more order book setups. We're going to look at trading a couple of news plays on the Spark platform. So I hope you tune in again. And until then, good luck in the markets, and I'll see you next time.